Hello Dota 2 players and fans in general. It's been 10 years the journey and therefore any guides now on the internet of any heroes are not quite necessary as they used to be, even to the latest newcomers. The game offers everything new players might need to begin with, in the pursuit of defending their ancient. From guides to build suggestions of all 124 heroes up to now. Especially when you purchase the Dota Plus, even when you are inside a match you are still receiving help. Val really backs up the users from head to toe. But are you sure you got the right builds for your heroes every time? As you might know already, the version and meta of Dota 2 keep changing. I mean, it changes constantly, and by meta it includes builds. Today, the lucky hero I picked up the feature in this video and I also played a lot lately is Hoodwink, the female squirrel under the hoodie with her crossbow. As an Immortal player frequently on and off leaderboard, this guy is more about how to survive the Immortal bracket than a guide for newbies. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not helpful for rookies. It's just not meant to be simple. Therefore, new players might want to work up their brains just a little bit to catch up. And I would analyze the reasons behind all the decisions if I could. I hope my video could help people who feel like they hardly get better in this game. So, what if you buckle up and get good? Firstly came in Miss Wood's update back in December 2020. Hoodwink took many roles. At the time, Thompson was spamming it a lot as a mid laner, and he was doing okay. And last time I checked, he's still doing this with his mid lane. And I don't recommend doing so because nobody does that. Nobody goes mid with Hoodwink. I don't know why and how Thompson is doing it. I don't know how he is where he is now, but nobody does that. So don't. I am not Thompson, you're not Thompson. Just don't if you value your MMR. But never in the history, I don't think that she could go offlane, because that role is traditionally reserved for initiators and tankers, and trust me, Hoodwink can't either initiate a fight nor tank. In the current version 7.34D, position that suits her the most is support, and support only, whether it's a +4 or 5. Before we go to the next topic, I gotta bring it up again that this is not supposed to be a newbie guide. It's more like my opinions of how to optimize the build and playstyle in order to survive the Immortal bracket. The first good credit I can give this squirrel is that she is the combination of everything. And by everything I mean she has stun, slow, escape, and nuke in one hero. Make no mistake, nobody in Dota is allowed to be imbalanced. All her skills require precision, focus, and setup team fight in order to land real well on enemies. Otherwise, you are easy to miss a lot of spells and become useless for your team. It's a trade-off. It only takes you a few games before you find out that Hoodwink really fucking hates Quelling Blade. This item only costs her gold, but it can easily sabotage Hoodwink's combo. It goes like this: you plant acorn into a tree, and before you can stun enemies by biting them to it, they just simply cut the tree down and you're screwed. Or even when you have already stunned your enemies, very pretty, but one of their free teammates cuts that tree down. Whether you planted that tree or not, enemies are free from the rest of the stun duration. I hope you don't blame yourself for this no matter how much your teammates blame you. It happens to everyone. First thing first, calm down. Check enemies' inventory frequently. If a lot of them keep that Ahurico axe, you must expect that as soon as you throw Acorn Shot on the ground, it will cut it. Here's what you need to do: you need to cast Acorn Shot anyway and let him cut it. Let him have what he asked for. By doing this, at least your stun will not be on cooldown uselessly. It's up to you how to cast your first skill. It's good both ways, but I suggest you should cast Acorn Shot the way that plants the tree to force them to set their Quelling Blades on cooldown. Normally, when they chase us or run away from us, eventually 100% they will bump into some trees on the way, and you really got to be accurate when the time comes. Patience and focus are the keys. Unlike other supports, Hoodwink is blessed with the mobility from scurrying. So most of the case you hardly get caught that easily. Therefore, it's normal for you to skip escape items like Force Stab, Glimmer to go straight for the love of your life, a Rod of Atos. There is this common sense of pop players that think about saving items when they are having the upper hand. At the early game, saving items are not that urgent and you don't have to rush them throwing away your advantage. Would you rather put your team in danger needing to be saved, or do you want to combo offensively to bring down enemies over and over to create early gap? Imagine rooting them for 2 seconds and then stunning them for another 2 seconds. But the thing is, with the Wrath of Atos, your stun is impossible to miss, unless your enemies also have something up their sleeves, like U-Scepter, Force Stab, BKB. One more thing I really hate about Force Stab is that when free enemies use it on their bushwhacked allies, forcing them away from the tree that binds them, they wake up from the rest of the stun duration. But it's a good thing that you force them to use items only to delay their own death. Do not combo with an U-Scepter because the range of it is very short. That item also fucks up your teammate's combo. With Rod of Atos later on, you can upgrade it to a core item for Hoodwink, which is Gleipnir. And you are also tanky a little bit with it. I don't have to tell you how Gleipnir or Maelstrom or Mjolnir correlates with Acorn Shot. Acorn bounces lightning procs. Now let's turn to the boot choice. I used to choose Tranquil boots as default, but no more. You see, Hoodwink is very squishy and her health regeneration is also a shit. In laning stage, your attack range is a little bit short compared to many other range support heroes, and your damage is worse. All that explains why there was a time I went for Tranquil to have a sustainable laning stage, but one day I realized that Hoodwink has a very terrible mana pool since she is an agility hero. Waiting for Tranquil makes you unable to spam your skills constantly in order to harass enemies in laning stage, and if combat ever happens without warning at early stage,
you watch.
Long story short, as stated earlier, our attack range and damage are considered bad, so I'd rather not having much health than not having enough mana. If you manage to have enough mana, by going arcane boots of course, even if you don't show up on the map to hit them with your toy crossbow, you are still very helpful by hiding in the fog, spamming your skills, which are the main source of damage from a support. I repeat, damage comes from the skills, period. If you notice the whole time, you must have seen my early Wraith Band. I suggest before you achieve your arcane boot, your main way to deal damage is still by hitting them, so the Wraith Band is there for better early harassment to make up for your small base damage. Later on, you should disassemble your boots to upgrade into an Aether Lance to keep distance and save your own ass. Your mana resource at this point is much better, so at this point you can upgrade your basic boots into whatever the boots you want. Boots of bearing, guardian grips, boots of travel, I don't care, pick your medicine. Sometimes Aether Lance should be rushed over the Rod of Atos, and sometimes it's the other way around. Just like any other support heroes, at the late game you can go for Sight of Face, Lotus Orb, but the cool thing about Hoodwink is if the situation requires, she can build as a semi-physical damage dealer, thanks to being agility based and her first skill. You already know what's with lightning causing items, but her first skill also scales very well with Hurricane Pike for the range and damage. Also scales very well with Daedalus for the damage and critical chance. I up Scatty for the slow and stats, Bash from Basher, and so on. One thing you might not notice that Hurricane Pike also increases the range of her first skill. I mean, it deals physical damage at some point of view, it's supposed to make sense, right? Therefore, be careful when you combo with the Hurricane Pike because the bonus range makes the range of Acorn Shot a little longer than Bushwhack. When you plant Acorn Shot at maximum range with the Hurricane Pike and then throw Bushwhack out, Hoodwink inconveniently has to move a little bit forward to match the range of the second skill. This would easily make you miss your combo when the enemies have a big window to move. The tip is when you want to combo real fast, step up a little bit to match the ranges of both skills. Such easy. Same thing for the Dragon Lance. Your combo would go like what I am showing here. You see how we take down the bristleback with ease since my ulti disables his passive. You can add up the Hunter's Boomerang acquired from Aghanim Shard and the Ethereal Blade to the combo to increase the amount of damage, but I don't recommend the Ethereal Blade since you have a lot of buttons to press already. Plus, Ethereal Blade might cut out the physical damage from your first skill, or it might screw up your carry's damage in the late game when your carry definitely can deal much more damage than you at this point. You can consider the big amount of money on that item on something else much more helpful. At the point of making this clip, Valkyrie has already added in a way to conveniently toggle between the two ways of casting Acorn Shot, only by pressing control button, but a bug is ruining the fun without getting fixed. Luckily at level 4 of Acorn Shot, this bug doesn't act up, but for the other 3 lower levels, whichever the mode you set your Acorn Shot on, when you press control button the skill refuses to cast in both ways. So before you reach level 4 Acorn Shot, I suggest you always set it on tree planting mode and manually turn it off if needed. For example, sometimes you succeed in doing combo with map trees and don't need the extra tree from Acorn Shot, or maybe you just want to farm. In such cases, you would want to turn it off for an extra bounce. Here are some prominent heroes I think you would hate to oppose. I know that a hero must have its counter picks, but these are some mentions that really stand out of the crowd. Whenever I have to face these heroes, it's always a bad experience or a low impact game for me. Slark. You know what Slark does? His first skill makes your bushwhack a joke, especially that you hardly can stun without getting noticed by Slark. Since bushwhack is a projectile skill, as soon as you throw something suspicious, Slark will pop his first skill and avoid death. His ultimate doesn't care about Acorn Shot, maybe chances that you can still hit him with your ultimate even when he's under Shadow Dance, but most of your skills are useless if the Slark knows how to deal with you. You are to depend on your teammates to initiate on Slark for you to land your combo nicely, and as a support hero, if you can't sabotage Slark at early stage of the game, you will be his delicious chicken wing at the late game. So my judgment is Slark is really worth banning, more than any hero in the game. Primal Beast. This dinosaur can't compare to Slark in terms of a nuisance, but it's still something that can ruin your pretty game. Its first skill chops down all the trees on its path over a distance that you think you are safe from, allows it to reach you and melt you down with its monstrous skill set, and its second skill, Trample, kinda does the same thing. Even though between the two instances you have a small window to stun him to a tree nearby, but it's more about the luck than the matter of skills. So how do you deal with him? I told you, Rod of Atos. Tremble can only pose if Primal Beast is able to move, and if it doesn't pose, it doesn't destroy trees, and with Rod of Atos you can normally hold him in one place up to 4 seconds from your root and stun. So even though it would be quite annoying, but at least we can still stop the Primal Beast. Unlike the Slark, the only thing I can do when I see Slark is pray. So for me, I don't really care to ban the beast, but it's up to you. I've only got a problem with those two so far, so I only mentioned them in particular for Hoodwink. I wish I could go in more details, but the rest depends on your personal skills. You have style, trust me, but you would have to find it yourself. I hope my nice little clip can point out something you never noticed before about Hoodwink and help you master this cute little hero. I would say have a nice season of the international, but the making of this video took the whole event to finish. I think my next project ever about Dota would be about the armor system that I think a lot still quite have not fully understood. See you next time, good luck and have fun.